My husband and I and our, at the time, 18-month-old daughter were living on a hospital ship off the coast of Congo in Central Africa. We had no plans to live on land. In fact, my husband wasn't even there when we got Ethan's diagnosis. We were separated by an ocean. I went into the ultrasound just assuming that everything would be fine because everything had been fine with my daughter. And I remember the ultrasound tech was, looking at everything and looking at the heart, and then she put down her ultrasound wand and she said, "I'm just going to go and review these images with the doctor." We heard the word heterotaxy for the first time that day. I remember I wasn't going to find out until later. With my husband over Skype that night, we were going to open the envelope together and find out if it was a boy or a girl. And I remember telling my sister, I need to know who it is. I need to know who it is that we're fighting for. And she opened it up and she said, "It's a boy." And we had already chosen his name before we knew anything. And we had chosen it for the meaning. And so I remember my sister said, "Well, it's a boy." And I said, "Well, it's Ethan. It means strength. It's Ethan. It's Ethan." And that's when I knew right then that we were going to fight for this kid no matter what. We were going to fight for him to have a chance to live up to the promise of that name that we'd chosen for him. He was pretty far down the road to having a single ventricle circulation. He was about 85% of the way to being a single ventricle kid because of his unique anatomy. I had gotten more and more active in the Heterotaxy Connection online groups. And, in talking with other families, I kind of said, well, can you even change courses when you're this far down the road? And so the network kind of came together and said, no, you should ask Boston for a second opinion. Where he had started out, they were very, very adamant that he would only ever have half a heart. We got up there and they said he would be a candidate for a biventricular conversion. We said to each other, we were going to fight for the best life possible for him. What we were told is that there was this team who was going to fight for our kid just as hard as we were. And that's what we needed to hear. We had been home for about a week after his surgery, and we went to the beach as a family, and we were walking along the boardwalk, and my husband and daughter were up ahead, and I was walking with Ethan, and he was so accustomed to feeling out of breath. So I remember he kept saying to me, I have to rest, because he would always say that. And then he looked up at me and his eyes got huge and he said, "Mama, I'm not getting tired. I'm not tired anymore." And he took off running. And he ran like a quarter mile down the boardwalk with his arms behind him yelling, "I'm Superman!" And he's everything that we never let ourselves hope that he could be.